Praise the Lord, everyone. Thank you for tuning in with Dr. Leisha, the preacher. Okay. Please click like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell on your way in, please. Thank you so much. Well, guys, um, for the past 2 to 3 years, I haven't dated or anything like that. And for many, many years, maybe almost 10 years, I haven't even had just a female friend, just a girlfriend to go hang out with, to go shopping, go to the movies. I haven't even had that. So I don't have any female friends and I don't have any male friends. You know, it's just me, basically, and my kids and grandkids. And I'm okay with that. I don't have a problem with that. But recently, I have picked up a female friend. She's spanking brand new. So, it's only been maybe a couple of months at best. We've only hung out a couple of times. So, not a lot yet. So, it's too new. And so, it's like I'm starting all the way over, like, let's see here. Okay. All right. So, yeah, it's like I'm starting all the way over, guys. It's like I have to learn to meet friends again. I have to learn communication skills again. You know, I have to relearn all this stuff again. You know, that divorce wiped me out. It wiped out all the relationships in my life. I mean, like every single last one. But I was able to, regain the relationships with my daughters, praise God, my two daughters and my eight grandchildren. So thank the Lord for that much. But now I think I'm ready. I know I'm ready to, have friends. I don't want to be married or be in love and have sex and all that stuff no more. I don't want to do relationship stuff on that level no more. Nothing romantic anymore. I'm done with that part of my life. But as far as having like male friends, this is new. This will be new as I consider this. It'll be spanking brand new because I was raised that you just be with the man you with, and that's it. And you don't have no male friends, you know? And then I'm the kind of person, I pretty much have like one major female friend at a time, one major one. And I've always had like, people that I went to school with and I know them and we can hit each other up a few times a year kind of thing. So that's been my life, having a husband for 32 years and then maybe having one, best friend, just one, main one. So that's been the majority of my life. I'm 56 years old. So now that my life is, wiped clean, I have like a clean slate here. I've picked up one new female friend. And now I'm considering being friends with someone I dated, a few years back. Someone I dated. Um, it didn't work out for, like just normal reasons. Nothing crazy, nothing too crazy. Sometimes when things don't work out, it's because of, really toxic stuff. And then other reasons why things don't work out can be, mild stuff. Nothing, where you should never talk to the person ever again and all that kind of stuff. So I'm learning these things, you know. And so I think someone that I'm already familiar with, someone that I will never see because we don't even live in the same state. And I'm not trying to travel, to see somebody that, you know. So, but as far as like talking on the phone, I do enjoy talking to this person. They have a good heart, they have a good spirit, about them. Um, so, you know, I think that might be a safe place to practice having a male friend, and I want to reopen my life up to people again. I used to have so many hundreds, if not thousands, of people in my life. You know what I mean? I used to. But like I said, the divorce just really shut my life down. And now I'm rebuilding it. So here it is, year 5 since the day he walked out. And everything was just burnt to the ground in my life. So I'm rising from the ashes. And I have 2 daughters, 8 grandkids, and 1 female friend that's spanking brand new. And I'm considering having 1 male friend, someone that I used to date that I know is a decent enough person. You know, we don't need to be in a relationship together per se. And, I don't see marriage or anything like that. But I don't mind being friends. And in the future, if he ever end up married or something, then it'll be his wife's choice if she can tolerate me or not. You know what I mean? If he even tell her, I ain't gonna ever go down there. If he even tell her, because I would never know if he's dating or anything like that. I wouldn't even want to have that kind of conversation with him. So again, I think this is a good relationship to practice having a male friend, even if it's just someone I can just call. You know, I think so. I think it's healthy. And going forward, I won't ever have to let go of any female or male friends just because I'm married or just because, I have a boyfriend or just because I'm in some type of relationship. I don't have to live like that no more. I'm like, wow, this is so cool. I can live free. I can just be me. You know what I mean, guys? After 32 years of marriage and living a whole life of just having one man at a time, one man in my world at a time, you know. And I love living that way. Now, of course, during that last marriage, um, toward the end, we opened it up because he didn't want me no more. He made it very, very, very clear, ice cold clear. He regretted ever marrying me and whatever, whatever. So I'm like, okay, well, fine, let's open up the marriage because, um, we still had the adopted kids that were not of age in the home. And so we agreed to stay together to get the kids grown, which was kind of crazy, but we did it and made it through it. So we did it. And the only reason why I agreed to do it is because number one, I made a vow. I signed papers to adopt these boys. And I believe that was the right thing to do to make sure that they had their father until they were grown. That's the least I could do. You know what I mean? Because sometimes it's just not always about what the adults want. You gotta consider the kids. And I know people say, well, the adult come first, and fine. Everybody lived their life different. I chose to stick around for the boy's sake because I thought it was wrong for us to adopt them in a bad marriage and don't at least see the kids through. At least see them through. You know what I mean? At the least. And then the other reason why I agreed to do is because we got along. I mean, we never raised voices to each other. I never raised my voice to my husband. He never raised his voice to me. We didn't cuss each other out. We never laid hands on each other. Nothing like that. None of that kind of stuff. He was just a secret cheater. A secret cheater. He likes cheating in the background quietly. He likes to have his secret lovers. I mean, another way to put it. And so I opened up the marriage just so that, to let him know, look, I know you got all these women hiding out there. Okay. You've never admitted, and all that, and that's fine. but I'm not a dumb woman. I can see clearly, And so, I just opened it up so I can, you know, you don't want me. And I'm only here to help get the kids finished. So I need room to breathe, meet people, go places. I started to travel and date and whatever, I did it. Whether right or wrong, my husband and I agreed on it. And we did research for a whole year before we opened up the marriage to make sure. I wanted to make sure. So I did, we have PhDs. So, nerdy people, before we do shit, we do all this research and, at least me anyway. So I did all this research on opening the marriage, the pros and cons. I wanted to know all the bad stories, all the possible bad things that can happen by opening up this marriage. I mean, it's already over. He declared it. But I want to know what we could possibly be dealing with, you know? So, and I did the research. And so, and lo and behold, we pretty much experienced everything we researched, the good and the bad, the good part of it and the bad part. We, it all happened. So, good thing we did the research so I wouldn't have been so clueless, you know what I'm saying? So, so during that time, I was dating and stuff like that, but it was under my husband's leadership. He had what was called veto power. I couldn't date anyone that he didn't approve of. He was the breadwinner. I don't bite the hand that feed me. Period. So that's why I use the word in my other video. I use the word is it cuckold? Cuckold husbands? You know. So we did that for about 8 years until 8, 9 years until he left me. He eventually just left, ran off with one of his secret lovers. He pulled out one of the secrets and brought them to the forefront and put a ring on it. Now, I'm sure the sugar baby was disappointed. The sugar baby was, you know, I'm sure she wanted to be pulled forward, but, he didn't pull her forward. He pulled a secret out of his back pocket, you know, and married that person. So, but yeah, I, and then, after he left, pretty much over a little bit of time there after he left, I eventually just shut down all dating and everything because that was never my life before. Living in an open marriage and all that. I was married before him and I didn't open up my end. The first husband, he was, I won't call him a cheater because I knew he saw other women. I knew, you know, I knew and I married him knowing this. So I can't really call him a cheater because I was aware. It wasn't an agreement. We never sat down and say, "Hey, you got permission to see other women." He never asked me. I just knew it, and I felt like it was a waste of time to even ask him otherwise. You know what I mean? He was a football jock. He was a college football jock. You know what I'm saying? So asking a college football jock who's used to having hundreds of women following him around, so to speak. Not that it was that heavy, but you know what I'm saying. He had a bunch of white girls always around him. Handsome young black man in college. Yeah, no white girls gonna be all on him. So it didn't bother me. I mean, I was in college trying to get my degree. Okay. So but yeah, we got married and it didn't stop after I said I do. And it didn't start bothering me until I started having babies. Once I started having our babies, then I couldn't tolerate the cheating anymore. Well, the other women. I couldn't, I need you home. We were entrepreneurs, so we had a business, so that kept him busy already. And between the business and the women, it was just too much. I felt alone too much, in the marriage. So, and then, I mean, it's none of y'all business, but hey, I put all my business out here anyway. But I have a really high sex drive when I'm in relationships. And he just couldn't keep up. He couldn't keep up with my sexual needs at home. and the women in the street, plus run the business. So I left. I left, you know. And I, on this channel, admit that I was wrong. I was wrong for leaving. Well, maybe not the leaving part. I believe that people can separate for an agreed amount of time to work on themselves and come back together. But I believe I was wrong for actually divorcing the man. I really believe I was wrong. So, but I'm okay with it. I've asked God to forgive me, and He and I, we've worked through all that over the many, many, many years. We've worked through all that. He's on wife number three, and you know, so, but we're not friends. I was legally married to the man and had two babies for the man, and we're not friends. I don't call him up and be like, "Hey, how you doing?" We don't have that. That's what I'm saying. This is new to me. This is new to me, and I look forward to this part of my life because I want friends. I want friends, and I want friends for the rest of my life. I want to have people in my life for the rest of my life. And I think the only way that can happen for me personally, maybe not for other people, but for me, is to never be married again because of my own marriage style. I really do focus on that one man. I really do. That's just who I am. But no man has ever been faithful to me. No man has ever allowed me to be his only one. No man. No man has ever afforded me to be his only one. So after 32 years of legal marriage, I'm not gonna waste my time like that. You know, sewing into someone, they're my only one, but I'll never be the only one. I don't want to do that anymore. Unless it's open and honest. Open and honest. But again, I'm just retired and done altogether. Even when we opened up the marriage for the honesty's sake, he still was lying and cheating and ran off and secretly married somebody. So, I'm the open, honest type, but that don't mean the partner will be. People agree to stuff like, yeah, yeah, we can do that, we can do that. But then they don't do it. You can't force or make nobody do nothing. So I rather, avoid being lied to again, especially being so old. I'm 56. I ain't got time for all these lies and being, I ain't got time for that. So I'd rather just be friends with people, you know, keep my clothes on, you know, talk to people, go out, just groups. I really like group outings, like bowling leagues and going dancing, So I'll probably have like uh groups of friends, you know. So I'm excited, guys. It feels good to reconstruct my life, from scratch, almost from scratch. It's like, ooh, but I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to enjoy it. So right now, my focus has always been, rebuilding my family, my kids and grandkids, rebuilding all this, and it's getting there. It's really coming into shape. We still have a long way to go. Me, my girls, and the grandkids, we still have a long way to go, but we're getting there. No one is we're all together. Ain't nobody broke up or in the foster care system or none of that kind of stuff right now. Thank God. Ooh, it's just a challenge. It's a challenge, but I'm determined. I'm here for it. And now I'm ready for friends. I'm ready for friends. My daughters, they have friends. Well, my one daughter has a husband, so all she got is just him. She don't have no friends. She ain't got no male, female friends. She just got her husband and all her kids. And then my other daughter, she got some friends and stuff. So their life seems to be what they want it to be or what it can be and for now. So now it's time for me to, you know, think about my social life now. Now that I have my kids and grandkids where I want them to be. Now I can focus on my social life. And once I have my social life kind of lined up a little bit, you know, the next step is to go ham in the paint for financial independence. One day the alimony will stop, the monthly checks will stop, and I will have to be able to provide for myself for the first time ever. For the first time in my life, you know, I will have to go out there, find money, provide for myself. And I'm here for it. I want to. I want to. Because I don't want to marry anymore. So I have to. And being at my age, learning how to take care of yourself for the first time is weird. Very weird. I know how to run a whole household, take care of a husband, a bunch of kids, and everything. I can even run a whole classroom. I'm a teacher. Well, I was a teacher by profession in the day, but I mean, I can run a whole classroom and start a business. I can be a co-founder of a business. I can do a lot of stuff, but taking care of myself, what? Oh my God, that's crazy. But I'm gonna figure it out, y'all. If not, then I don't know what's gonna happen to me. Oh no. But God is great and greatly to be praised. And for the first time in my life, in my adult life anyway, first time in my adult life, I get to have female and male friends. And I can keep them. I won't have to let them go unless they let go, you know. Because sometimes, your adult friends may have lovers and spouses that don't want them to have no friends. You know what I mean? And then they'll cut you off because of who they sleeping with. So I understand that happens. But it won't be me doing the cutoff because of who I'm sleeping with. I don't, you know. And I was raised one way, but I realized that the people that talk that talk, they don't live it. They don't even live it. So when they go through a breakup, they're able to just reach for a friend. You know what I mean? And I'm like, wow, why didn't I live like that? Why didn't I have backup? Why didn't I? I mean, because you can be committed in a relationship, only have sex with your husband or your wife or your significant other or however, you know, and have a lot of friends out there in the world that you're not sleeping with. I should have maintained that kind of life my whole life. I should have had male and female friends my whole entire life, regardless to who I'm sleeping with. Well, we live and learn. I'm learning it at 56. That's kind of late in life, but I don't ever want to get married again and be overly committed like that. I'd rather have friends. But I already didn't live life though. So it's okay for me to speak this way. I've already lived life. So I already did the husband and raised the kids thing. So now I can say, forget that all that overcommitted stuff. I'm just gonna have me some friends. You know what I mean? I can afford to say that at this point in my life. And I'm excited to be doing something new, something different at my age, something new happening. I'm like, okay. If I get to meet girls and guys, platonic friends, and I don't have to cut them off if I don't want to. As long as they treat me good and I treat them good, it's all good. So a guy can call me up and say, "Hey, let's go to the movies. Let's go do this, let's do that," or come to my cousin house or my girlfriend or my wife want you to go do this or whatever. And I'm like, "Okay, I'm coming." Or a female friend can say, "Hey, girl, let's do this." Boo, boo, boo. Same thing. I'm like, "Yeah, here I come." I don't have to ask no husband or nothing. I can just go, y'all. Just go live my life. This is the first time ever I've had this much freedom and liberty and whew, you know, wow. I mean, do I miss being married? A little bit. I missed a little bit, I do. But not to the point where I'm not willing to. What time is it? I got to pick up my grandson from school. Okay. Yeah, but not to the point where, I'm willing to get married again or be overly committed or, show my body to anybody. So friends are more important to me at this point in my life than having uh, a romantic partner. All right, guys. Well, thank you all for listening to me. Let me get this off my chest. You all be blessed. And yeah, my next video will probably be talking about motherhood. What motherhood means to me, the effect it had on my life. You know what I mean? The sacrifices I had to make, you know. And I believe I had my children because the Lord wanted me to. And so everything that I had to go through because of motherhood is worth it. It's worth it. Extremely worth it. I may not have much money, but I got my kids and I give them all I got. It may not be much money, but I give them all my attention. I talk them through their issues. I'm there. You know what I mean? So I'm thankful for that. I may not have no man, no husband, nobody in my bed. But I spent so many years being active. I was so blessed to get 32 years of marriage. So I'm not complaining, y'all. I'm just healing from a broken heart, healing from disappointment. You know what I mean? Healing from being treated so bad, you know, and I've learned a lot. And now I can rebuild my life the way that I see it from here, you know, and I appreciate and I am thankful for everything that I have. And I'm glad my exes, all my exes, whoever they are, all of them, all of them everywhere. I'm glad they, are with other people and doing what they want to do, and I'm thankful for this opportunity to live my life the way I want to, you know, wear what I want to wear when I want to wear it, you know, go where I want to go when I can afford it, you know. So I love it. I love it. I was afraid of it, terrified, but I'm here and I'm like, oh, what was I so scared of? What's the big deal? You know, what's the big deal? You don't know what you don't know. That was the point. You don't know what you don't know. And now I know. I had nothing to be afraid of. You know, husbands could leave me 1,000 times and it shouldn't even bother me, really. It really shouldn't bother me. Okay, guys, that's enough. Me just talking. All right, please click like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Be blessed.